Hello, my name is Annette Davis. I'm a graduate student at Strayer University. I'm working to complete my Master of Science degree in Information Systems with a concentration in networking. Today, I am presenting the Zachman framework as a homework assignment for CIS 512. Professor is Professor Alexander Peter. And now let us begin. The Zachman framework is a framework for enterprise architecture, which provides a formal and highly structured way of viewing and defining an enterprise. The framework is used for organizing enterprise architectural artifacts in a way that takes into account both who the artifact targets, for example, the business owner and builder, and what particular issue, for example, data and functionality is being addressed. These artifacts may include design documents, specifications, and models. The framework is, in essence, a matrix, and is named after its creator, John Zachman, who first developed the concept in the 1980s at IBM. And now for an overview. The Zachman framework summarizes a collection of perspectives involved in enterprise architecture. These perspectives are represented in a two-dimensional matrix that defines along the rows the type of stakeholders and with the columns the aspects of the architecture. The framework does not define a process for architecture. Rather, the matrix is a template that must be filled in by the processes specifically required by the organization. If these processes do not exist already, the framework helps identify these gaps in architecture. An example of what's included in the rows: row 1 involves the scope, row 2, the enterprise model, row 3, the system model, row 4, the technology model, row 5, as built, and row 6, the functioning enterprise. The framework is a simple and logical structure for classifying and organizing the descriptive representation of an enterprise. It is significant to both the management of the enterprise and the actors involved in the development of the enterprise's systems. While the framework is focused, the application-oriented area of the enterprise architecture, its scope includes non-IT components such as people, processes, time, making it an appropriate addition to the overall IT strategy toolkit for CIOs. Furthermore, the Zachman framework provides a common context for understanding a complex structure. The framework enables communication among various participants involved, developing or changing the structure. Architecture is the glue that holds the structure together. The framework defines sets of architectures that contain the development pieces of the structure. And now let's just look back at the history. The first version of the original Zachman framework was called Information Systems Architecture Framework, and it was presented by John Zachman in 1987. Originally conceived by John Zachman at IBM in the 80s, the framework is often referenced as a standard approach for expressing the basic elements of enterprise architecture. The Zachman framework has been recognized by the U.S. federal government as having received worldwide acceptance as an integrated framework for managing change in enterprises and the systems that support them. John Zachman in 1987 describes the framework as it applies to enterprises. He says it's a logical structure for identifying and organizing the descriptive representations or models that are important in the management of enterprises and to the development of systems, both automated and manual, that comprise them. The framework comes with a set of rules. Rule 1. The columns have no order. The columns are interchangeable but cannot be reduced or created. Rule 2. Each column has a simple generic model. Every column can have its own meta model. Rule 3. The basic model of each column must be unique. The basic model, the relationship, the objects, and the structure is unique. Each relationship object is interdependent, but the representation object is unique. Row 4. Each row describes a distinct, unique perspective. Each row describes a view of a particular business group and is unique to them. Rule 5, each cell is unique. The combination of 2, 3, 4 must produce unique cells where each cell represents a particular case. The framework is generic in that it can be used to classify the descriptive representations of any physical object as well as conceptual objects such as enterprise. It is also recursive in that it can be used to analyze the architecture composition of itself. Although the framework will carry the relation from one column to another, it is still the fundamental structural representation of the enterprise and not a flow representation. How can the framework be applied? The Zachman framework can be applied in both commercial companies and in government agencies. Within a government organization, the framework can be applied to an entire agency at an abstract level, or it can be applied to various departments, offices, programs, subunits, or even basic entities. The Zachman framework has stimulated the development of enterprise architectural frameworks. To give an example, the TEAF, which is built around similar frameworks such as the TEF matrix. All enterprise architectural frameworks define some kind of view model to organize and check their views. The primary strength of the framework is that it explicitly shows that many views need to be addressed by enterprise architecture. I would like to thank each of you for joining me today as we've given an overview of the Zachman framework. Have a great day.